Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the TransArt Optimus. I don't know what they call it. I really don't care either. You guys know me. Third-party names just don't care. So here he is, his truck mode. Oh, man. I tell you, I mean, you guys know me. I'm a huge Beast Wars fan. Stuff like this. I never liked this thing when it first came out. Like when the original toy came out. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. And it's just... nothing you say or do can change my mind on... this is a truck. The Transmetal's third modes were always like that. Just kind of like... if you say so. And this is... pretty much what you get for this thing. It's essentially a gorilla laying face down with wheels. It rolls. I'm sure it'll roll better if you get everything right. But it's just, and one thing, TransArt is known for, or at least for me, is no instructions. So it's like I don't have instructions to go off of, just pictures I can find online. So it's, yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and transform it into jet mode. So you fold these down, straighten out the arms, fold the wing down, and then we take this assembly here, and we can just open up this here, right? Well, no, I think we just leave it how it is. So now, and then you take this piece here, fold this up, so you can take this, rotate this around, pull this down, then rotate this back around, and there is your jet mode. I mean, and I'm not making this up yet. I mean, seriously, like, here is product shots. There's his jet mode. Or I guess those do go up. And then you can fold the wheels up so he has more clearance. And then that's the truck mode. Like, seriously, these are less alt modes and more like, if you had a kid, so I had this one. It was G1, I can't remember the name, but it was a mixer truck. It was a double target master. And if you fold the arms down and you fold the barrel backwards, in my child mind, and you flip the legs just right, it kind of looked like a spider. As an adult, it's like it looks nothing like a spider. You guys are gonna be like, what the fuck is he talking about? But in my child's mind, being 5 or 6 at the time, I was like, man, this thing looks awesome. And it's got a third mode. That's what these modes remind me of. Things like that. It's just like, it's not really a third mode. You just twisted and turned things until it kind of looked like something. And that's what we got here. So let's go ahead and get them into gorilla mode, because that's actually a mode that works to an extent. So flip these panels here out, and then you flip this chest piece up, which will allow you to flip the head around like this. Then you flip the wheel to the inside, close that up, close these panels here into his arms, flip the wings down, okay, and then you flip down the toes, flip the wheels back, split the legs, and then what you do here is you can take this assembly here and again flip this to the back, rotate this forward, collapse that up. and there's your gorilla mode. I don't know how much of that was on camera, but now it's in gorilla mode. You can take this piece here, and this will actually rotate. It does split part here. I might have to take the head. Like that. And then that would kind of make the gorilla gun turret, if you want to do that. If you want visible head syndrome on the back. And I'm not giving TransArt a hard time here. You know, outside of the fact that, yes, this could have used some instructions. But what it's the original design of the figure. It's just so weird because they tried to make something just so big and do so many things, and it's like that they were not at that period of time where they're capable of achieving things like this. So posability, well, you know what, because the posability is essentially the same, I'm going to skip it till we get to robot mode. There's not much here that's not in robot mode. So one thing, I believe in the cartoon, you take these off and they would plug into the shoulders up here, right? Or no, I think that's for robot mode. Is that? Let's see what it says here. How does he have it here? Oh, they both have them on the forearms. But you could do that to make... I think that was robot mode, actually. But that is something you can do as well. Alright. Now, let's get them transformed into robot mode. Again, it's not all that complicated. So, take this piece here, untab it here, and it rotates around. And see, there's a slot here that plugs into this peg here. So you rotate that around, and you'll see another slot that comes up. We'll plug that one in. Same thing over here. So open, rotate. Okay, straighten out the legs. They fold into the back here. There's a little space that for the gorilla mode anyway. So you just extend those out. Then we can rotate the waist to the back. Alright, and then we take the gun turret here, rotate this around. This comes up, and what we want to do, keep the gorilla head back, robot mode comes forward, and then this will come around, and then there's tabs here and here that's going to plug into I believe here and here. No, they plug into these tabs on the circle part. And it's a matter of just getting it right. And I may not have it right yet. Let's see here. Can I rotate this and then this? No. No. Definitely not. So this all come to the back here. There we go. And then this will tab in that. Rotate the head around. Oh, before we close this up, the gorilla head does have, he's got this face and this face. So you can swap those around if you want. I preferred the little one because he's got the smaller eyes. So down, and then we take this section here, and this will brake. Lock all that in. Then we can take this piece here, and this closes up. Locks into the torso, and you take these guns here, and they tab in. And then you have to keep messing with things to keep them all tabbed in properly. And there you have the TransArt PRIMAL, essentially, in robot mode. You set the arms out, flip this around, and then you take this here and you just extend the hands, and then the thumb rotates around, and that makes it a left hand instead of a right hand. Same thing over here. And that's it. It's not a complicated transformation by any shape of imagination, but it's not a very elegant one. So he does come with different face sculpts. He's got a total of 3 visors. They're just slightly different from one another. So it kind of depends on what you want to do here. I guess you just kind of pick one. And then, like, this one's slightly angry. Like, he's got just a little bit of a crest there, a little bit of smaller one, and that one's just smooth. So just like you pick the slightliest different version of the forehead, and then you've got 3 different faces. You got kind of like a ooh face. It's a terrible looking face. This one, I guess, is more stoic. And then this one's more like angry. So we go with the slightly furrowed one, and you just plug this in, and then plug this on, and there you go. Posability wise, head is on a ball joint, so you get the left and right, up and down. This does not like staying tabbed in. Shoulders are on ball joints. They ratchet in and out. This ratchets here in and out. Bicep swivel. There is a piece here that moves out of the way to kind of get the arm out a little bit further. The wrist swivels, hinges in and out. Thumb, you get the hinge here, hinge here, hinge here. And then you've got ball joints, 4 ball joints, and then 2 pins for each finger. So pretty much full articulation, but they bend all the way back. There's no stoppers, which would have been really nice to have, like, hey, it shouldn't go back this far. They're also pretty thin, so they don't look all that great. Waist swivel. The hips rotate out, back. Oh, a piece just came off here. Yep. So plug this back in. There we go. So rotates in and out. Thigh swivel, bends at a knee. Got the double joint because of that. But there's nothing here to lock it into place. And I'm going to get into a lot of these faults here in a second. And where I think they come from. And then the foot rotates. Solid ratchet there. And then there's a rocker, swivel, and then a toe tilt. So overall, posability is pretty decent on this guy. A few things that just don't quite work as well as I would like them. Here he is with the Cheetor. and their first Transmetal Primal, which is an infinitely better figure, I might add, and has an appropriately sized head. His head is too small for this body. And there's reasons for all of this. And it all stems to what I said when I did like 2 rants of the week in a row on this guy, before I even touched it. It's a KO. It's a KO, guys. I'm sorry, but it is a KO. And a lot of the faults come from it being a KO. I had the original toy. I played with that original toy 1,000 times. I don't have it still, so I can't compare it. But I can tell you that it's a KO. They've improved certain parts of it, but they also just kept other parts of it. Things I know for a fact. The sculpt on almost the entire thing is from the original figure. All the way down to the Maximal logo sculpted in on here. Things that are improved, like I think the fingers, if I remember, were on one pin for the whole thing, so they just kind of basically sliced those up. But the way that transforms and everything, identical. The soft sculpting of the fur here, identical. These were originally all spring-loaded, so we had 3 plugs here and here, like one here, one on the inside, and one there. And they were all 3 pieces. So it's like they made it one piece, and they improved it by not making it a spring-loading thing. The head is small because it's got to transform a certain way. And given the restrictions of the original mold, this is identical to the original mold, and it was obnoxious on that as well. The improvements from what they did was like making this be able to slide down, but the original one had things that would that these shoulder pieces would lock onto this. So it's like once you get everything lined up right, it all just kind of locks into place, and it was really sturdy. But they got rid of those for whatever reasons. So yeah, in the end, I mean, it's very clearly a KO to me. It's just they just took everything from the original toy and scaled it up. I think, or maybe scaled it down. The original toy was about the same size. They just kind of copied it. And this company was notorious by doing that. Originally, that was one of their first projects, was making smaller versions of that Optimus. A lot of people are saying like, well, he's not supposed to be in this line, but well, he is. You know, the code on the figure is the same code. It's, you know, let me see. Let me see here. Yeah, so he is BWM-05. And 04, BWM-04 was Ravage, I believe. And BWM-03 was Cheetor, 2 was Primal, and 1 was the Transmutate. So it is part of the line, but it doesn't fit because I don't think it's clearly not designed for this line. It was designed to just be a KO with some improvements. So in the end, I think it's a fail. I mean, it looks fine. A lot of the problems don't really stem too much from TransArt, outside of the fact that it's a KO, but they stem from both the original design of the toy, but also the design of the character to begin with. I always hated this design. I thought it was stupid looking. Going from robot to ape, like with the original Primal, there wasn't enough changing. There wasn't a lot changing between, a gorilla and a robot. Outside of, you straighten them out and you flip the head around, pretty much. Same goes with the Transmetal one. But because that's all they do, essentially, you know, he's got like the little surfboard thing, but because that's really all they were doing, they succeeded in that. But by adding in a jet mode and a truck mode, you really, really fail trying to combine them all into one and make it look like a coherent gorilla. That's why he's got super long arms and weird, funky fingers and just, you know, tiny little head. It just... And in the show, he was also a lot bigger than this. So he should be towering over Cheetor. Like, I believe Cheetor would come up to about here. He was massive. He wasn't just like, oh, twice the size. I mean, he was huge. So it's like, it doesn't fit with the line. And because they translated so much of the original toy, it doesn't work in this form. One thing I forgot to show off is if you fold this down, you can push this button here and have nipple guns. You know, if you want to do that, and then everything comes untapped because you mess with things too much. So it's just like, I really want it to just lock in securely. You know, that's been the theme of the day. I've looked at, like, you know, I review a lot of things at the same time, but, you know, because that's just when I have time to do it. But I've had just this continuous problem of figures not locking in properly. And that's just, it's the same with this. It's just, it's not good, guys. Do I think we're going to get a better Primal? I don't know. You can get the Perfect Effect one if that gets reissued. He comes with the same display stand. I really doubt that it's going to function very well just because of the weight of this guy. Like, let's see. Let's try it. Plug this in here. It's just like, you know, maybe it'll hold it steady, but like, these things are not designed for such a heavy figure. It's not gonna work. Not going to work at all. So yeah, ultimately I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 10. It's just not a good figure for me. I just don't like it. I knew I wasn't gonna like it, but what with the that Dragon Megatron getting reissued, I wanted something a little bit more cartoon accurate than the Perfect Effect one that I think might be getting reissued as well. So I don't know. Maybe the Perfect Effect might be a better answer. I might have to really contemplate that, but yeah, I don't know. As a Beast Wars fan, I'm not happy here. You know, that's 2 in a row with TransArt for me that are not good. It's not 2 in a row the wave, you know, release wise, but the Transmutate, I that was the last thing I looked at from them, and it's like between that and this, I'm like, ugh. 2 out of 5. And then they were doing like 1,000 repaints of this guy, and they still haven't done any repaints of this guy. You know, it's like, it's just bizarre. They're doing Megatron next, so hopefully he looks good, but we'll see. But yeah, I guess that's all I got.